You're good to go.
Okay, we have 5:30. I'll call the meeting to order. This is it wasn't warranted as an emergency meeting, was it? No, it's a special meeting. To accept resignation, develop a ad, and figure out an interim treasurer. I assume everybody here has had the ability or the right to read this.
I read that one. I don't know if Lance seen it. It was in the box.
It was also in the email.
That in an email recent.
In an email also,
Yeah.
yep. Yeah, it says, "Dear Select Board, please accept this letter as a formal notification of my resignation as Bakersfield Town Treasurer. It is with my deepest sympathies that I have to do this. It is due to emergency situation involving their company. I will try to help as much as I can with payroll until a replacement can be found. Unfortunately, due to the time of year and circumstances, I will not be available for training or replacement. Best regards, Maria DeRosa." Do I have a motion to accept?
I'll make the motion to accept the resignation of Maria as town treasurer.
Is that Terry? Okay, perfect.
I'm gonna wait till Terry's here.
Yep, that's fine. Hey, Terry. You got a game to get to too.
You gotta work.
Oh, you go to work. I just read the letter that was in the email, and John has made a motion to accept the resignation.
Yep.
Lance was in the process of seconding, but paused.
I paused, just waiting for you to get here. I'll make the second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed?
Oh,
As far as let's go interim that way, in case it takes longer, you can make it to the game still. Interim position, Terry, you reached out to Vera, who was nice enough to join us tonight to discuss what can happen from this point forward.
Right.
The hot seat.
You're in the hot seat.
Remember to push the push button.
And
Yeah, right.
Hit the button that says push glove. There you go.
On, here we
Yep,
go.
there you go.
So, Vera, you know the circumstances that we're in.
Mhm.
You've been brought up to speed. You were asked to come back.
Well, I offered, yeah, okay.
Yep. Our plan is to fill this position as quick as possible. We are gonna put an ad in the newspaper. I have spoke with Montgomery and Sheldon Select Board members about what they have done in the past and what they do now.
Me too.
Yeah, I know you.
Fairfield.
You Fairfield, okay. So we have a pretty good idea as to where we should go or where we can go from here. Our request is to fill the vacant position until that person can be hired.
So one of the things that Vera and I talked about was the fact that we're still gonna need her, whoever we bring on for training.
Yes,
obviously.
exactly.
But I had asked Vera about if she could help us with, if we go to the hourly versus staying with the salary.
Yep.
What she thinks would be a good amount of hours that we would allot for
What
that position.
what this position should take hourly per week.
Well, because she'll explain more than I can, but as far as,
I can do some. You'd mentioned one other town, they have 25 hours.
right,
We don't need 25 hours here. The only thing I did explain to Terry was, being that I was here for so long, I know what I'm doing and I work fast. It's just the way I am. I do that with everything. And I make sure I double check stuff. So it isn't like I'm working fast and, I pick up later, but I went back to my September, October of this past fall.
Mhm.
I started on 9/12 because she had her baby on the weekend. And of course, I kept track of all my hours to bill. September and the first week of October are the busiest time of the year. whoever comes into this job needs to understand that they should be there while the town clerk's office is open every day in September, just about, or very soon after the beginning of the month. And be there, of course, for tax day and right after, because you've got to balance everything. It's not Kathy's job to collect taxes, it's the treasurer's job, and that's their responsibility, and they should be there for that. Given saying that, these are the hours I spent for that time frame, and I broke it down to what I worked per week. And this is at the busiest time of year. 9:12 to 9:15, and I only worked. I came in one Friday quickly to do something, and then somebody brought me some paperwork for the library, so I did that. But I typically tried to not come in on Fridays, except for when I talked to Maria about what hour, so what hours do you want to be open for taxes? And I said, well, what do you want? And then we'll make them that, and they'll be so they'll be same the next year. So we're not confusing people as to when we're open and when we aren't. So I was here for 9 hours that Friday because we worked the Friday and the Monday, the same hours, I think. So 12th to 15th of September, I worked 19.25 hours. 19th to the 22nd, I worked 13.5. 26th to the 30th, I worked 26. Being that I was there that Friday for 9 hours, and also that is more than likely the week the CoreLogic packet came in. That takes a lot of time to do because that's all the mortgages. They send you a check and it goes with these bills, and you got to do all the work that goes along with it. So that week, yeah. 10:03 to 10:05, I was here 15.5 hours. That's 9 hours on the Monday and balancing everything up. And then
What was that, 15?
I'll give you the paper. How's that? 15.5. Maria came in, she thought she was going to try and come back, but it was just a little too much to be back that soon. I totally understand. So she asked me if I'd come back in. So I came back in the 18th to the 21st for 8 hours, October 24th to 27th for 10.75 hours. When you're talking your usual stuff where you don't have taxes coming in, you're not sending taxes out. In July, you're going to be sending taxes out. It's going to take a while to do those because you got to print them all out twice. You got to stuff all the envelopes. You got to make sure that you get all the extra ones to where they need to go. And then mortgage companies are sending you a list of ones that you need in that big packet that comes from CoreLogic. They're asking for 75 tax bills. You got to copy all those. It takes time. So in July, you're going to be busy. And then January, you're going to be busy because it's the end of the quarter. So you got to do all the quarterlies. You got to make sure everything is caught up to date because it's going to get audited. So everything has to be up to date, all the interest put in and all caught up. Then you've got W-2s to do, 1099s to do, all that stuff. Plus you have to be there for the CPAs or auditors when they come. You have to be there for the audit because they're going to ask you a ton of questions, have you pull a bunch of paperwork. So you need to be there. So
That's for what month? Sorry.
January.
January.
So January, July, September are probably the busiest months. So if this was my busiest time and I wasn't here for some of the times I wasn't even here the 16 hours that the town clerk's office is open. So I'm just giving you that as an idea.
Mhm.
So
Showing
somebody that's learning first time around,
It's going to take them longer.
25 hours a week. Is
More.
that?
Well, all right. So next
No.
week is next week.
25
We're
would be
paying the
too
road and the
much.
general bills and payroll, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I probably have it done in a few hours because I'm going to have to go in and look at QuickBooks yet again, because when I started doing that, as I was telling Lance, Audrey showed me one warrant that morning I came in. She sat with me and showed me how to do it. And then I said, well, all right, so I've done that. So you can do the town. I just wanted to do one warrant and do the payroll and everything on the computer. So I understood it. And so, oh, well, you can do that one. So I did that one as well. And then after that, it was learning by doing. And so I don't know, I didn't take the time to charge you to learn how to use the rest of the program because I wasn't going to be here.
Right.
Well, I thought I wasn't going to be here. So I didn't learn all the things that I probably could learn to be able to print out other things. So yes, it's going to take whoever's in here longer to do because they're not used to doing it. They're going to, double check their work, I hope, and, make sure that they did it right. I'm always open for questions. I told that to Maria. I said, if you need to call me, call me. I mean, I came in last week on Monday and Tuesday and worked. I helped her balance the taxes. We were off on that. It was balanced before I left, but we had changes and everything else. And so it balances perfect now. and then I worked on some of the trust fund for her because she hadn't really done that much. And the auditors were here, so I said, well, I'll work on that and get that done for them so that they can have it to work on. So I took it home and worked on it in the afternoon, putting stuff in the computer and stuff. So I was just trying to help her because she was swamped with auditors and W-2s and everything. So I just thought if I could help that way, I would. And then Tuesday morning, I came in, actually Tuesday morning is when I finally balanced the taxes, but it didn't, it was a matter of just going and I know what to check. That's the thing. You know, if it's off, I know where to go. So
Right.
that's kind of that.
See,
So,
Just quick numbers, because I know John's a numbers guy. That's
Yep.
approximately, if you were to go with 25 hours a week during those 3 months, which you said is probably too much, and you said for the first year, is
Well, yeah,
it
for the-
possible you might get to that point? So for those 3 months, that's 300 hours. And then the rest of the year totaling 10 hours a week is 400. So we're talking 700 hours total for this position
right?
for the year.
for the year
Well,
to learn that first year. Right.
I think Maria was doing more than 10 hours a week, wasn't she?
she might have been, I don't know. I wasn't here. I mean, when you're coming in, let's say next week, I mean, I might have it done in a few hours. It might take them longer, but you're gonna have it done that day.
Right.
Then you're gonna have a day where you're doing deposits and stuff. They probably would on Monday, if they haven't done it before, I usually did it right at the end of the month. I updated all my spreadsheets, had it done. So it was ready for the select board or whatever. But if they come in that Monday to do the reports to get things ready for your meeting. I don't know. I know I do things quickly and it depends on the time of year. I
Right.
mean, the week in between. Your second and fourth Tuesday for the checks, the week in between, you don't have a lot to do necessarily, depending on the time of year. And yes, there's going to be, I mean, I have a list at home. I've got a list of stuff that has to be done during the year, which hopefully would help whoever decides they might want the job. But you know, there's going to be a workman's comp audit they're going to have to do, and somebody's going to come in for that. And that's not that much work, but it's still something extra, and all your quarterlies. I have a list of stuff that's done once a year, quarterly,
646.
twice a
my-
month, whatever, so that it gives an idea for whoever comes in.
My suggestion for tonight is to get Vera on board.
Yep.
Talk about this piece of it on our regular Monday night meeting, but at least getting her on board
Get her on board and
because
getting
we need that
advertisement for
before
the
we
paper.
can advertise. We need
You
to
need
know
this.
what, yes, I
Okay.
think we need to know what we're looking for
Well,
in
so
the
here's-
person.
here's
in the
only problem with
position.
that, is we have already built the salary budget for this year.
I know,
It's in.
I know.
That is set in stone.
right,
And that's,
which is fine,
Yep.
which is fine.
Which we thought would be 1,000 hours up to,
That piece we don't want to rush,
right?
but I think getting her on board is what is more important than anything.
absolutely.
So I'd like us
Right.
to get her rolling and
Can I tell you what I want first?
yes,
Go ahead.
you
Then you can decide if you want me or not.
can. Well, we already know.
There you go.
so.
None of us know when you're gonna have somebody.
Right.
What I would like is to get the treasurer's salary. You've already got a salary set.
Mhm.
I'd like the treasurer's salary. It was done my job so that if I wanted to go to something, or if I needed to stay home with kids that are sick, grandchildren that are sick or whatever, Monday nights, if my kids have a ball game, my grandkids have a ball game, that's where I'm going to be. I will give you paperwork so you can see what it is, but this is what it is. My family comes first.
So you don't want hours. You just, you don't want set hours.
No, just, I want the salary, whatever you were gonna pay for this
18.5.
year, that's what I want.
Okay.
I
That's fair enough.
don't want to sit here, I mean, you're gonna pay it out anyway. I
Mhm.
don't want to sit here trying to track my hours here, home, wherever I happen to be working.
It works out very close, what you were billing the town for anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want the signature cards done as well. You're gonna have to take Marie off anyway.
Mhm.
I don't want to go through what I went through last year where I had to make sure, Brenda always came in and signed. It was very good. She always did, but still, I'd like to just be able to finish my work.
Yeah,
So, and I don't care, the reason I did it that way the last time was we needed to take Audrey off
mhm.
and Maria was already
We already
coming
had somebody
aboard
hired.
and
Right,
Brenda was gonna be the second signer and I planned on being gone in December.
Right.
And
Right.
circumstances, I stayed longer. somebody can give me a list of what you need for paperwork at your meetings, because I don't know what she's been giving you. Don't have to do it tonight. We can get going.
Yep.
When do you want me to start?
ASAP.
Okay. Begin in the morning
This
because
morning?
I did, but I was working on stuff for Kathy. Stuff that the treasurer would hand Kathy and she needed it. And I don't know if Maria's been in. She came in the first, I guess. I don't know if she's been in since then.
Well, who has the laptop? Because I didn't see it.
Her laptop,
The town laptop.
the one that Maria
The one
uses,
that Maria.
One of them- So did they lock it up? Okay.
it's in this,
It's
Office.
locked in the office.
it's in the office. I used it this morning.
And it's a new one. It's not the one you used to use. It's a new one.
That's
The newer
supposedly a newer one because the other one wasn't, yeah.
Yeah.
I need to talk to the library too, to see what they're used to getting for paperwork. So Brenda's gonna have to be the one to contact the bank. And I was wondering if somebody's gonna talk to Maria,
About.
As far,
that you accepted her resignation and then you've put me in as interim treasurer, because yes, I can start working tomorrow, not a problem. But I'm gonna need to be in contact with her for a little bit and ask, is there anything that I'm supposed to be doing that you haven't done? Or I need to be updated on stuff so I know where I stand.
right.
Where you need
Yeah,
passwords.
absolutely. I would say that we let Maria know that we've accepted her resignation. However, we would like it to be as of maybe this Friday, so that she
Exactly.
has 3-4 days to be
Give her
able to
that.
get with you on what you need, if we don't even need that much.
I just wanna-
Has she been here?
Let's
She
just
came
wait
in
we
the
can get
first,
some.
Kathy said, but I don't know if she's been in since. I know
Oh,
Kathy's looking for your
okay.
budget, your 5-year budget, and she mentioned it to her, but I don't know if I don't see where she's come in and done it, so.
That wasn't here.
You see, that's why,
Okay.
that's
so
why I'm
just-
here.
We'll
So
send
You
a
can't, you gotta
letter.
have payroll. and
We'll
bills
let
done.
her know that
That's,
we,
that's what I'm not sure. Was
Basically the
this
report she's been getting.
Thank you.
effective immediately?
I'll get them
yeah,
back.
I think it was.
Yeah. yeah,
And-
okay.
I have another
So we
copy.
should just send her a letter, letting her know that we accepted her resignation.
Tammy, could you
Yeah.
type that up for us?
And we were
But-
getting,
And let her know that,
If you guys sign. I'll be in on Wednesday. You guys
we were
wanna
getting
sign?
those in the second.
That would work. I mean, I
We-
can
The first meeting.
message
in
her
the-
also and
first
just
meeting.
let her know that.
Right.
she's
I'm done.
and then-
But
you
should
could just let her
letter
know that
addressed.
I'm gonna need to chat with her or something.
Yep.
If she can't come in, we message back and forth, so I know
So she could touch base.
Where
with
I
you to Set up a time to get.
either
it.
a time, or if she can just let me know these things I haven't done yet.
Okay.
Or that, I am
But
gonna be
she's
getting in
already
touch with
her
her.
Meat of things as far as sugaring.
Yeah, it's busy season.
Oh.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we were getting
Plus new
those
mommy.
reports on the first meeting of every month for the previous month.
Oh,
yes,
oh, yeah.
like I used to do.
Yeah.
I used to always give you
Exactly.
reports. Yeah,
Identical to yours. We went back to that where this
okay,
is what we had, this is what we've spent,
Right.
this is what we
What
have
we've
left.
budgeted, what we've spent to date and leftover,
okay.
just so that it's easier. It made budgeting a lot easier this year.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, I did.
And if I was reading the minutes correctly, you would like the library report as well?
I would touch base with Nicola Cribb and just see what they've been getting.
Well, no, I know that, yes, I'm good. I know I gotta talk to her about what
Yes.
they want, but I thought I understood in your minutes, did you want a copy of the library as well, seeing as part of town?
We had
Yes.
said yes.
Okay, that's what I want to know, because
We,
I will try my best to train whoever,
yeah,
as to what you need.
in the past, we've never received anything from the library, just that very bottom note right
What's
there.
on hand?
That's all
Yeah.
we've ever seen.
Okay,
So we had no clue how, what, where they were
How it's
spending
divided
money.
up.
okay,
Yeah.
so I can send you the same thing I send them,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and you can look it
Great.
over.
Yeah,
And the one question I had there, if I could, is, has anyone, and I know you fill in and you do a great job, has anyone thought about just documenting some of this process that you go through so that it's like, when you get a new person, they have something to reference?
You mean
Yeah.
the SOP?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's in the office
For-
Yeah, they-
for-
it's for the treasurer.
oh,
they've got a whole
It's
binder.
there. I have been updating it this weekend. So I have been putting time in. I updated it this weekend. I can't finish it because I need to know what, I needed to know what you wanted for reports. I'm going to need to talk to the library because the process has changed since I was here.
Mhm.
So it's no longer the way it was. So I need to update that correctly, but I do have standard operating procedures.
Good.
I also have, and I don't know if anybody's used them, I'll make a computer on her computer. And I updated it when Maria took over. It's January. These are the things that have to be done. February, these are the things that have to be done with lines at the bottom so you can add stuff to it. So if you print that out that month and check things off as you go, you've got that.
Right,
I also
Like a
have
check sheet of what your work
Yep.
for the month should be.
right.
the
right.
standard up.
To pay, what
Yeah.
comes in.
Well, no, it's more, you got 2 warrants to do for the town, you got 2 to do for the library, 941s are due. Your state report is due, whatever the
Right.
things that are due. And I know there's a couple of things that I'm not sure if they're on there, but, and I also have a list of things and how often they're done, but I have one for the town, one for the road. The equipment ones are all on the same page because they're all basically run the same way. That's all there.
Mhm.
So I'm updating it though, just to be sure that everything is up to date.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so I think we're all in perfect agreement that the treasurer's salary is not even a question. That's what you should be getting if you're acting as treasurer. Signature cards, like you said, we'd have to get in touch with Brenda. She's on her way back from Burlington.
Okay.
So we'll get in touch with her and she should be able to do that tomorrow.
Right, she's
So
here
that you
tomorrow.
would be able to sign checks.
So even if it's not by Tuesday next week, even if they don't get it back to us, she can sign the checks. I just
Right.
have to remember not to put a signature on. The ones you write out, it's like you write out,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
you sign them, right? It's like, no. So yeah, I just want to be able to do the job.
Yep.
Yeah, so really, if she can get it done by next Monday's meeting, it'd be fine.
Yeah.
Right.
Any others from you? I thought I was expecting a list. I mean, that's.
Of
you'll
like
have
what?
More demands.
To thank you immensely.
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Coming to our rescue again.
once again, yes.
I thought about the pay and it's like, yeah, I've got 31 years of experience, but I wasn't going to change what you were paying out. I'll just go with what that is. I decided
appreciate
not to change that at all, but yeah, I want to be able to be there for my family. If they've got games.
Right.
or they've got-
Absolutely.
I don't blame you.
Summer could be iffy. I don't know what I'm gonna have for hours. That I can. work in
That's
the
just,
summer, so
okay.
Hopefully it's done with
Hopefully
it.
it's
Otherwise, it's leave the grandkids come up for a couple hours and do checks or something, but
Mhm.
I'll do the best I can and I'll try to have things to you in a timely fashion.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
All set with me?
Thank you so much, Vera.
Push that button for me.
I certainly can.
Thank you.
So I just got a text message over here from my wife. It's not a very good game. They were playing Enosburg.
We've only got like 5 kids, right?
We have 8, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
8
but-
now?
But Enosburg has like 7 that play basketball year round.
Oh.
Yeah, she just texted me and she's like, don't worry if your meeting runs long.
Have any questions, always feel free, if I have any questions.
Perfect.
Thank
Yep.
you.
But I was trying to get things organized in my head, what needs to be taken care of. I'm sure the reconciliations have been done. If she hasn't been in, then I don't know. So, stuff like that, I can try and push it down.
She was here with the auditors.
If I can help, I offered to help the town report because it was, Jason's working accounting and stuff and she talked to you about that, coming in and helping her with
Right.
capping with stuff. If that's okay, that's kind of above and beyond, so I don't know what you want to do with that, but if he needs help and it's okay with you. Somebody's gonna get that book done, it's gotta be done by in 3 weeks,
Yeah.
less than 3 weeks,
Yep.
so. I offered to help
So,
because
so I think the audit's done though, right? That was the 30th, 31st and 1st.
But field work is.
Right.
Not all of the public use collected. The report is generated generally in 3 to 5 weeks. So it's not going to be given time for the town report.
So hearing with the town reports, we're gonna have to try and type it up the way it was, that's why I offered to work. So
Exactly.
that time. I know, I think Susan is coming in to do stuff too, so I'm just offering to get it done on time, if there's something I can do.
Okay.
And help Kathy out with stuff that she needs, that the treasurer has, or whatever.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Vera. Bye.
So yeah,
So the ad,
so you can't really make an ad without knowing what you're gonna pay.
well, we
Oh,
know,
you can make an ad without knowing what you pay, but you got to decide what you're going to pay before you start interviewing.
there's no question,
So the biggest thing with the ad is you've got to at least, you don't have to have the pay in the ad. You've got to have what you're expecting for hours, I would say. Is it part-time? Is it
Part-time position,
time position? Is it a full-time position?
I think we just be honest. It's kind of like a part-time
I would say
position
a
and the hours move out. Very
Is it
good.
is a part-time
I think,
treasurer's position?
I think we,
Seasonally.
right, will vary during the seasons, depending upon the needs,
And then before we interview, we've got to know what we're looking for.
especially the July, September, October. I guess we should work on that, to Terry's point, we can
Because
work
I
on it.
have to go to work.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was gonna say. I guess we should work on that at the next meeting, our full meeting
which isn't
So
fair, but
it's
isn't
on
that-
Monday,
next week.
Monday.
so today, so since you do have.
We could take it,
Does give you time.
right, a little bit of time.
It does, but it doesn't, because if you advertise it as a salaried position, it's salary position, but it's based off of if you started January 1.
Right,
Right.
exactly. You
Right.
obviously aren't gonna get full salary.
Well, I don't
There's
think it
full
should-
Salary if you don't start until, if,
Salary.
who knows? We might not even get applicants until,
Personally, I
knows
don't
when?
think it should be a salary position anyhow. When you listen to Vera talk, the first year, they're gonna have more hours. But they're gonna, depending upon how the slow season is, if they want to learn, they're gonna pick up. She did 93 hours in the heavy season. 93 or 98. That was Vera, who's done it for a long time, and I agree. Someone else, the first season is gonna cost us more. The second time through, it should be much easier.
Right.
Decrease in pay the following year?
No, you're just doing hourly. That's what I'm saying. You go hourly. If you keep going salary, what happens is just almost what happened here. Just with this scenario, right, where folks are, they take months and months, they don't have many hours. Like I said, if you figure out what Vera's talking about on her busiest season, which was September, October, it was less than 100 hours.
saying there, this is what we're giving Vera.
Right,
This salary is what we're basing Vera
Right.
on. That's not saying that our new person has to be based on that salary. That salary, Vera's got 31 years of service. This person could come in with 0.
right.
Why would we give her the top salary for that?
That's what I'm
Or
saying.
he.
Well, I'm still pushing not, the term salary to me, salaried is whether they show up and do 10 hours this month or do
We
500.
can decide that. We
I
can
like
decide.
hourly.
There's nothing in stone for this new person.
Right,
This is in stone for Vera.
right. I'm just
Vera
talking
has
writing the
asked
ad.
that we keep the salary for her.
Right, I'm talking
which
writing
we
the ad.
can, But when we talk about the new person, we don't have to keep it as salary. We could go to an hourly.
That's what I'm saying. We're saying the same thing.
You are?
Exact same thing.
So that's what we should think about between now and Monday
Right, some,
Well, what I'm saying is
and
that-
have some
It is to their benefit.
hours figured out as far as how many hours you think you're going to put in, or that person is gonna put in a year's time.
Great person who's gonna.
Because whatever you give them, you can't go over. We cannot go over what we've put in for a salary.
Right.
Right,
So I think the argument there is if you were to establish an hourly wage,
correct.
okay? So for example, if this job took 700 hours the first year, your salary would be 26.46 per hour based off of the salaried number that we had put in. Okay,
Which I wouldn't give that
I
to
wouldn't use
somebody
that
just
either.
starting.
Right, I wouldn't use that either.
don't put that in there.
Is it just,
Yeah.
oh, yes,
This is a for instance.
For instance.
So you work $700 at X.
100 hours.
700 hours at X
X amount,
pay,
right?
okay? The next year, you come back to do the same job. And you have the experience, you've done it, you're still making X. You're not making X plus 5% or X plus 10%. You're still making X. The job takes you 500 hours.
And you make less money on it.
You have then made 200 hours less pay.
Right.
And I am
Right.
walking out the door so quick.
Absolutely.
Me as somebody who says, okay, it's gonna take me 500. Now, this is me.
Yep.
I'm not the average person. I go, now I've got the stuff under my belt. I can go because I'm an employee, not an elected official. I can go to a neighboring town and say, hey, I'll do this for $22 an hour or whatever, if you're looking for someone in the neighboring towns, whatever the number may be. And I'll give you, I now know the system. Now, instead of, I have 700 hours, I've got 1,000 hours.
Yeah, but none of the.
So Maria was at 17, right?
17.2,
What was that?
17.3.
She was at 17.2 to start
Yeah,
with.
17.
Maria?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So now figure it at that. For an hourly.
Like,
Oh.
and you've got somebody who's, if they don't live here, driving back and forth.
24.
It's a
57.
part-time job.
You don't get paid for driving.
Still, it's an expense for them to get here.
It is an
Right.
expense for them, but we don't pay them for getting here.
But if you're, and then you've got really fluctuating pay.
It's
Beauty-
not
the
fluctuating.
beauty- it technically is, because if you don't have 20 hours worth of work this month, then you're in 10, but
You
The-
can't do that for the month, you're kind of wanting a consistent pay. I mean, this is a
Yeah.
consistent job.
The reason I think this was salary, a salaried position, is because of the fluctuating workload
It evened out the pay.
that it evened out the pay so that you weren't having, you weren't having to scrimp by
right,
1 week. and
for,
not-
for
Well,
3 months.
absolutely. If you're not gonna put. If you're gonna go to hourly, you've got to guarantee these hours.
Right.
You've got to guarantee
As the
that
employer.
as the employer,
Right.
they'll miss
That-
hours. Right.
we expect you to be here.
But
And maybe you won't do all treasurer's work. Maybe you will have to do and help Kathy out with
Right.
something. But you're expected to be here X amount of hours a week.
so say, okay, so
I mean, that's what
The number-
Montgomery does. Montgomery is, you're there, their treasurer is there 25 hours a week.
Yeah, but.
They're
on
doing
some of
25
these
hours a
contracts,
week?
Most of them they were. The highest she had was 26. I know, but I'm just saying. If Montgomery can do it in 25,
If you're collecting taxes for 8 hours a day for 4 days, that's more than 25.
1,300 hours a year.
you're not gonna
Sorry.
do it. You're not gonna be here. Vera's not here, neither was Maria. 8 hours a day.
Who?
7, 9 hours.
Well, that's the 2 months.
They were not
There's
here for days on
During
end, 8
tax season.
hours.
September, October,
Big bulk of hours, but then if you're demanding 25 hours minimum a week.
Well, you gotta go
Brenda.
somewheres with it, Tammy. You can't just pay people for coming and chit chatting in the office.
this,
You may be paying for them.
you're gonna have,
because they're
you're telling them it's just that.
Their duties if we're gonna go to the hourly.
Realistically, the office is only open 16 hours to start with. Let's call it what it is, 4 hours a day, 4 days a week.
So at 700 hours a year, you're averaging 13 and a half hours a week,
What time is that?
6 o'clock,
Oh, Jesus.
6:04
I'd be
actually.
to work for 6.
So, I mean,
Can I make a motion to table this till next Monday?
we can, but we gotta get something out so we can start. I mean, if there are applicants, we need to get them at least.
You can still advertise.
Well,
You don't
It-
put, when you advertise, you don't put a wage in there.
No,
That's
no,
right.
no, I had no intentions of putting away.
Right.
I would say,
I would just,
I,
you don't even have to
No.
put that in your
Now,
ad.
you just
You would
put in
say
looking for part-time employment.
part-time
Employee.
Part-time treasurer for the
treasurer
town of
position.
Bakersfield.
Yep.
And that's where I would
Beauty
leave
is,
it until.
you know,
we get
somebody who
things
has a
ironed
full-time
out.
job may be able to do this after work most of the time, except for September and
I was gonna
October,
say-
apparently.
No, not really, because of tax collection season and
And there is.
auditor season.
That's what she was saying. There's four periods, September, October,
That was
January,
somebody
and
with a
and
full-time
July.
Job can't
So
just say, hey, I'm gonna.
Bakersfield has a tax collection box outside their office. So if they're not there, people can put their taxes in that.
Yeah,
We have had a lot of requests.
I don't see where it would be an issue. Why couldn't you just put in like a post office drop box where you pull it out, put it in, drop it in, night deposit box at the bank, same basic principle. I don't see where it would be an issue.
I don't know what theirs is. I meant to look when I went back outside and I forgot to look. Because what they do,
I bet it's something similar.
the
to that.
day of taxes, you have to have your payment in there by, if her hours are until say 3, your payment has to be in that box before 3.
Or
Right.
turned in.
Yep.
Yeah,
And they seal that
it
box.
wasn't seconded.
I was gonna second.
They seal that box and so you can't put your money in after 3.
Which is fine. I mean,
And it puts a sign right on there.
the ones at the
If-
bank have a lock.
If you were
can't use it.
postmarked that day, it's accepted. So if you run right to the post office and mail it and it's postmarked that day, you're all good to go.
So.
Oh.
Brenda was willing to second your motion.
Okay.
To
Table
this
this on Monday.
I would say table until Monday, however, run an ad that
Mhm.
says part-time treasurer position. Open in the town of Bakersfield. Inquire by mail or. Yeah, inquire by
Can we
mail.
put that in the?
Email?
PLCT, the messenger.
Post it around
and
town,
the courier.
yep,
Courier.
and post it at our
Usual spots.
usual spots.
Now, you're saying physical mail or you're saying email? Or both?
Either way works for me, as long as it's. In writing with attached resume.
Mhm.
I'll draft something.
There you go.
Look at it.
Draft something, send it to us, and hopefully we can get it in there this week. Motion has been made, seconded,
Vote.
discussed. All those in favor of tabling this until Monday? Was that with an adjournment?
Sure, yeah.
And adjourn the meeting, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Yes.
Nay? No, I mean, there's no one opposing. I said aye.
Yes.
5-0.
Perfect.
Motion was adjourned to table.
A table this discussion to Monday and adjourn this meeting. Yep, which is Monday.
Right.
Are you gaveling us so I can stop recording?